To Dhaka, we'll find all your cousins. I'll tell them you love them, and I'll do what's right. We'll stand at the embassy, we're protesting everything, and I'll take your picture and you'll sing my song. It goes, I don't want you anymore.
Thank you.
I wish that you were here.
Hello and welcome to This CanAsian Life. I'm your host Rekha and this is
Gabby.
Today we're having Pinoy food for dinner with Martin Cochingco. I have the pancit bihon and you have
Tocino and eggs.
very original. And
The Bilok.
the what?
Bicol Express.
Bicol Express.
I don't.
Express.
All right.
Uy, you see that one? Yeah. I got the good one.
Any Filipino knows, the best food is egg with rice and spam. And you gotta drizzle that bit of ketchup.
Spam though.
Yeah.
For real. Is this like a childhood favorite then?
Childhood. This is an everyday favorite.
Every day,
don't know.
forever and ever. Any other Filipino foods?
I like caldereta. That stuff's
Okay.
really good. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, were you? Yeah, no, that stuff's really good. It's like, I think it's like beef brisket. I think. I don't know. It's just good.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so skill testing question.
Oh no.
You're at your auntie's potluck party.
Okay. Okay.
Potluck is the word.
What is your top 3 food items and who made it?
Uh-oh.
I'd like to say,
Uh-oh.
the rice.
Uh-oh.
Number 1.
Okay. By who?
I don't know. Rice is rice, guys.
Okay.
But apparently you have to like fluff the rice after you do it, and you have to wash it. Wash your rice, guys. If you don't wash your
Wash
rice,
the rice. If you don't wash the rice, you're not authentic. You're not eating it right.
Yeah.
I thought Uncle Roger said don't do that.
Man,
He said to do that.
Man,
He shows
you say-
washing it over and over again.
man, you gotta
And he-
wash it
Was he, like,
until
upset?
you gotta wash the rice till it's clear. The water's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, your ancestors will come back to haunt you. The caldereta is probably the next one I'd be eating. Trick question: did an auntie actually make it, or did she claim that she made it, but she bought it store bought?
No, we don't come for
Because
auntie like that.
usually happens.
This is gonna be an interesting episode, guys.
We don't.
Usually happens.
Oh my god, we don't come for our titas like that.
I never said which tita, but if you're watching, you know who you are.
The drop. So, Martin, you're a stunt performer, right? How did you make your way there? Like, what has been the journey thus far?
Whoa, that's another long question.
Okay, what was your first introduction to like purposeful movement? Let's say.
Purposeful movement?
I don't know why I said purposeful movement, but like other than going for a walk.
What did you see
Running
that
away
went
from a
that's
bear.
cool, and you're like, I want to do that?
Ong
What was
back.
it? On back.
On
yeah?
back, actually. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense of the question. Yeah, I saw Ong back, and there's like a lot of stuff in there. I was like, oh, that's super cool. And then I think this is right around the time that YouTube came out. I think I was still watching stuff on like Black Sheep Online and Newgrounds and yeah. So I mean, I remember at one point I actually saw they're called tricking samplers back in the mid 2000s, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I saw that stuff in a movie. I saw it on back in The Protector, and I was like, oh, I want to do this one day. This is cool.
Did you already have like a skill set in martial arts before that?
So at that time, I think I was a junior black belt, first degree black belt in Taekwondo. And then I was a dancer for a long time, Filipino folk dance in Edmonton here.
Nice.
I did that since I could walk. Yeah, no, that's, so yeah, purposeful movement. I've always been like moving, I guess to say. But In terms of stunts, I think at one point I went to Nate for business and business admin and studied like a whole bunch of stuff. But at one point I just decided to I don't want to do it. I had good friends that said that they were going to a stunt school and going to stunts. Shout out to Aaron and Johnny. And I remember I decided to go, this is like a career path that I could see myself taking.
I know that you've told me that you love Rush Hour 2. What's something that you're currently watching or inspired by?
I get most of my action like inspiration and stuff from anime and video games.
Okay.
Because like it's harder to mess up animation because it's purposeful. You have to animate something purposely, and same thing with like video games. You have to put that purposely. You can't just take the best take that there was.
Totally.
So like sometimes the best take isn't even that great, but you have to use it because you're on a time crunch.
So like all-time favorite anime right now?
Haikyuu.
Volleyball.
I guess like as a show is Haikyuu, but as a series is One Piece.
One Piece.
I knew you couldn't betray the
For those of you who don't know,
yeah.
We are all friends, and we've also worked with each other in different capacities.
That's right.
I have had the pleasure of being trained by Martin and the group that he's part of, and I've also worked with the Alpacas.
I've had the pleasure of filming the group that he's a part of, 3 Takes for Less, and Rekha. So we've kind of all worked together. And yeah, it's been great. I'm actually surprised it took as long as it did for us to kind of meet each other, which was something that like you guys have also brought up, which is interesting because you said that you feel like Edmonton doesn't have that kind of hub and community to meet and grow and meet, network essentially.
Yeah, for us, I guess like the only reason why we ended up like networking was through a project together. And then from there, it became like the possibility for opportunities for me. But I just needed to like learn an entirely new skill set at my not so early age. So,
You're not even old, dude.
well, yeah, but to learn how to do stunts after my entire life of my movement has been, I run on a sidewalk and fall multiple times. Really hard.
It's good for stunts.
Got great for stunts. Scrapes on both my knees. Yes. But now I have learned how to fall. So I sometimes have dreams that if I run on ice the wrong way, I know how to fall correctly, right? So let's hope someone's filming it for my demo reel, right? But
I hope you're not running on ice.
Yeah. And also hope you
dangerous.
know how to wear knee pads.
bro, even if I could be standing on ice and boop, I'm done. That's it. I turn my head the wrong way and I'm done. So learning a whole new skill set was definitely a whole thing. But now you guys have gone and grown from that even more then.
Yeah,
right?
I think like, and from what Gabby was saying, it's actually really interesting because like at the time that I was recovering from my injuries and stuff, Aaron and Johnny were all working out in Japan, and I was really salty that I couldn't go. And reasons beyond my control, I actually couldn't go. So I tried to make the best of it here, and it was difficult, if I'm being honest with you. Like I didn't know where to go, who to turn to. I don't know where to start. And at the time, like being as little as like a YouTube star was kind of like the next step for all that stuff. So kind of aligning myself with people that could help me and like-minded people. Like at the time it was just Darren knows here. We just started training and making stupid videos, kind of just as practice. But then during that time too, we realized that we'd be traveling for tricking competitions, or for me, I'd be going for like paperboard competitions, or I just in general love traveling, like meeting the locals and being a local. One of the biggest things that I thought Edmonton was missing was something like JAM. So JAM's a gym in LA. It's JAM's an acronym for Joining All Movement, and they take everything from parkour athletes to dancers to martial artists to stunt people, all that stuff, and they shove them all in the same place. And being there really kind of made me realize how much better of a performer and athlete I grew, just because of how surrounded I was by different talent. Just because one person was the best tricker, you could still get inspiration from a dancer, and vice versa. And great, now you have like a martial artist. And martial arts, it encompasses a lot of things. A lot of people think of just Eastern martial arts. There's martial arts is like martial arts. It's, you know, so there's a lot. And that's kind of something that I realized that Edmonton kind of needed. And the more I traveled, the more I took Edmonton for granted.
Okay.
And like I hear a lot of the stuff where it's like there's nothing in Edmonton, there's nothing to do.
Oh yeah, big time.
But then like also growing up and like seeing all these dancers and talent leave, a lot of the big talent came from Edmonton. Like some small shout outs, I'd be like Alexander Chung. He was choreographing for the Backstreet Boys. Where is he now? Choreographing for the Backstreet Boys. He's in LA. You have guys like, well, this is just from like the dance side, but like Carlo Palanca and all that stuff. They're not Carlo Palanca, Carlo Atienza, sorry. Carlo Palanca, if you're watching, you got a shout out for me. Carlo Atienza, yeah, he's in Vancouver, and like a lot of these talented people come from Edmonton. It's just there's never any infrastructure here for them. And I really do like the city, and I love the city. So just kind of building it is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I mean, like, yeah, you're right. There wasn't a hub for when we started. There still isn't really a hub yet. But hopefully, with COVID being gone, COVID being over, we can start building that now.
What about 3TL? Who missed 3TL? Okay, there we go.
We're a collection of stunt performers here in Edmonton, based out of Edmonton, Alberta, that like to beat each other up on film safely.
What does 3TL stand for?
3 takes or less. There's an asterisk there. I want you guys to know that.
Why is there an asterisk?
I knew you're gonna. But there's an asterisk there because we might not be able to do it in 3 takes or less.
Of course.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
there it
yeah.
is.
Because they could do it in 1 or 2 takes.
No.
That's still the or less part.
Oh.
How do you get past the dilemma of starving artist? Like how do you line work up? How do you find this work? How does that even work?
So I feel like starving artist is a very oh boy, how do I explain this? I feel like that's a very cop-out kind of title for some people. Like honestly, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, like what's more important than whatever skills you have in this industry is people skills. It's more important than how good you are. Like you could be the best stunt performer in the world and do all this stuff, all that stuff, but if you're a terrible person to be around, they might not hire you. I mean, sometimes they have no choice, but like if they had a choice between the best person, terrible attitude, uncoachable, blah, 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 and a very mediocre person that can take direction, but makes you laugh, who are you gonna wanna hang out with for the next 3 months, 16 hours a day?
Person B.
Yeah, exactly. Person
Yeah.
B. Yeah. So, kind of going from training from the stunt garage and just training in general, like whether or not you find like a team of your own or whether or not you're kind of just going at it by yourself. You kind of start out in the whole like non-union sector. So there's two different paths, right?
Yes.
As a actor though, and as like a stunt performer, your likely path is going the union side. You're gonna want to go to the union side for sure. I'm saying a lot. So as a non-union stunt performer, pros and cons. Like pros is that you get 90% of the time you get to be part of the action. You get to have a say in the action, all that stuff. Everything's a little bit more flexible. Like set and union work's kind of rigid, but the pay isn't as good. Full disclosure, I didn't get into this like career for pay.
If I had a phone, a red phone that
Yeah.
went off every time I was getting a gig,
Yeah.
is that phone going off often in this industry, or am I looking to supplement this career?
It depends on your oh man, and this is like the vine part of this industry. No, the vein part of the industry is that like you need to fit the bill. Okay. I'm very lucky right now that there's a lot of shows that need POCs and Asian Canadians and Asians in general. And I'm well aware enough to know that this is this is a well right now. This is a great well that will dry up eventually. One of my biggest fears right now is that once this well dries up, am I gonna be good enough to break past all the other people, or do they need me just because I'm Asian right now? That's a different conversation entirely. But theoretically, yes. If you're good in this industry, you're well liked, you're well connected, your phone will be going off a lot. If you're willing to travel, you're going off a lot. And I know from friends here, and for you guys being my friends, how often am I really in Edmonton right now?
Actually, this was very difficult to get him here.
It's
so
like
I
Carmen
hope you
San
guys.
Diego with you, dude.
Yeah,
like,
appreciate
where is he
it.
now?
Yeah, so at this moment right now, my phone's going off a lot. At this very particular moment. In a year, who knows? Maybe not a single job. You know, it's take it when you can. And then my best advice too is that once you're in the position that I'm in, get a good accountant. Save your money.
So when did you first become union? So I guess that was 2019, you said?
No. I was non-union actually in Toronto. So that was 2019. I was non-union.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I was working for $200, but I loved it back then.
Yeah.
Like, I get to play a samurai. Like, literally at the end of the day, guys, I play make believe. Like, I play with swords and pretend to get blown up sometimes and slash imaginary objects. Like, this is the stuff that I did as a kid in the backyard of my auntie's house with like gardening sticks.
But now with money and benefits.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. But so I've been union now since January of 2020. So right at the turn of the decade. And then I got my first 2 union jobs right before COVID hit. And then bam, COVID. And then and then after that it was just really good because then all the shows came back. From my knowledge, it was harder to get the Americans over, so they had to hire Canadians. So it was just great.
Just opened up opportunities for Canadians a little bit more.
Yeah, and being in Alberta was actually an advantage of being a person of color. It's because there's very little.
That's actually interesting because a common thing that we hear a lot in the industry is, oh, you should go to Vancouver all the time. Do you think that there's been more work happening in Alberta per se? Things are picking up more. There's more productions.
Definitely more productions, like 100% more productions in Alberta. Things have definitely been picking up. They're not wrong when they say go to Vancouver, but again, at this moment, at this time in this last 6 months, it's been very, very good to Asians. Like very, very good to Asians in Vancouver, which is why I've been in Vancouver a lot. I don't have anything else to compare that to, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. So,
I wonder if that's ever been, like, if there's ever really been a notable time when it was like, we need Asians now, you know? I feel like it started off being like, we should include Asians because that's a good thing to do. But now it's like, no, we need to get them in here.
I mean, that's kind of like, I'm happy that there's a lot of opportunities for Asians, and I'm happy that there's a lot of opportunity just in general. And just like a lot of productions are going, I wouldn't say traditional, but they're not coloring anybody, they're not darkening anybody, all that stuff. So it's nice. It's not just Asians, but people of color in general. There's a lot more opportunities recently. I don't know, guys. Like I feel like even like a show that's like 17th century Japan, and it's all samurais and they're all fighting with each other. Like I don't know if like you need a lot of Asians for that.
You need, yeah.
And like I remember actually no. To your point, there was actually one movie that was like that. It was Snake Eyes.
Oh,
yeah, Snake Eyes needed every single Asian in Canada to perform. I was not union that, unfortunately. There's also other reasons for that, but then I wasn't part of that project, which is unfortunate. But yeah, there's always like here and there, but I think it's just recently that there's a lot of Asian shows.
Do you feel like this is great that we're diversifying and we're getting a lot more Asians in film, but what are we there for? Like, what roles are we fulfilling? Is it mostly just like you're Asian and you can fight? Because that's how it goes with martial arts.
Man, that's a loaded question.
Very loaded question.
It's a very loaded question. Honestly, and this is from my experience with everything, I don't really see it that true anymore. if that's the case. Like, of course, there's movies like Shang-Chi and there's shows like Kung Fu and stuff, but like, I feel like it's a big tokenization thing when that's like the selling feature of it. When you look at Shang-Chi, obviously, when you look deeper into it, is it about martial arts or is it about family drama? You know what I mean? Like, when you look at the same thing with Kung Fu, like, and it's the fact that you're able to highlight those things in those movies to really, you know, to really add to those. For me, I'm never really in a position to say no to a job right now, because like I'm so early in my career, I'm so young in my career that I can't really say no to a job. But I've never once have I felt that I was tokenized for being in like a martial arts Asian. Sure, there's roles, there's projects that call for diversity and all that stuff, but never once has it been, okay, role 1, martial arts, go. It just happened to be that I was the only one there that could do martial arts. It would have happened to anybody, whether you're white, black, you know, anything. So I think that's kind of going in a better way. And you have like, especially in Vancouver, you have shows like the CW. You have like Superman, Lois, Flash, Arrow, Batgirl, Superwoman, Supergirl, Batwoman, all that stuff. And there's a lot of really talented fighters that aren't Asians. And then going forward to that, you have actors like Jimmy O Yang and like Ronnie Chang and stuff like that. They're not martial artists. They're just, well, they're funny. But then you also have like other like drama, like drama people like Daniel Day Kim, like all that stuff. They're not martial artists. Like, they're just good at what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And furthermore, like, you kind of look at like a big trend. What everybody's going through right now is K-dramas. And how many of those K-dramas do you see martial arts in?
Not really.
Exactly. How many? Squid Game was a huge one, and like how much martial arts was really in Squid Game? It was a lot of character-driven stuff.
Yep.
So do I feel like there's a tokenization of Asians? Not as much as one would think. If you kind of look at it from a surface level, then yeah, I see how that looks. But being in some of these situations, it's like, no, there's more to it. Tokenization is when you're Asian, do martial arts. No. Shang-Chi was just a kid that happened to do martial arts, but in the end, it was just father versus son.
Okay.
So,
Spoilers, but okay, thank you.
come on, that was in the trailer, dude. Come on, that was in the trailer.
So with this vision, you guys have literally thrown your entire lives into, where do you see it going in 5 years? Where, like, what is the vision for 5 years?
Wish you asked me this in 2015, because I'd be like, I don't have 20. Anyways.
Oh my God, no.
Anyways, honestly, 5 years, I'm hoping that we have, I don't know, at least a bigger spot with a higher roof, so we can do some more fun stuff. As for 3TL ourselves, I'm hoping that we're all like really, this is gonna be weird, bear with me. I'm hoping that we're so busy with our own jobs that it feels nice for us to work together again. Like it's like the Avengers, where it's just like you're all doing your own thing, all your own movies, and then at one point we all get hired on one project again, and it's like a lot of fun. That's what I'm hoping.
It'll be a great big reunion.
Yeah, you know, things like that. It'll be fun in 5 years. If I'm being honest with you, in 5 years I kind of want to open up my own restaurant.
So the goal is to be coordinators, and then at the end of the day, you all rendezvous at your restaurant eating good balabok, good pancit.
I'm gonna say this
all that
right
good
now.
stuff.
I'm gonna say this right now. I have no ambition to be a stunt coordinator at all.
So it'll be like, if it's thrust upon you, it's thrust upon you. You're not trying to.
No, if it's thrust upon me, I'm going to call someone that is a coordinator and be like, hey, do you want this job? Just hire me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So I mean, like, stunt coordinator is a very specific set of like skills that and responsibilities that, frankly, I do not have or do not want. It's paperwork. But yeah, no, stunt coordinating is, again, like, it's pretty self-explanatory, but there's a lot of like insurance paperwork you have to deal with. There's a lot of scheduling you got to do. Oh, man, like having like manager responsibilities, I've never wished to have again, ever.
That comes like farther than 5 years of experience, right? That's like
Yes.
long experience then.
Yes, but I've met like a lot of stunt performers that are well into their 50s. I'm shouting out Mike Ching and Dong Lu. You guys are great role models. For Mike Ching has worked on The Last Samurai. And Don Lu was part of the big 300 battle scene. You know the one I'm talking about. He was one of the guys that got his leg cut off and then stabbed and all that stuff. But yeah, no, like they're like well into their 50s, and I just worked with both of them. And in stunts, there's this thing called a ratchet, where you're on a wire and you're on a harness, and you get like pulled back from like an explosion or pulled through a wall because you got punched by a superhero. Mike is 52 years old, guys. 51. He's in his 50s, and he's still doing ratchets. And he's been doing this since he was like 22, 23.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I want to be that. I'd rather just perform.
There's definitely hope for like a full-on career then.
100%. There's definitely hope for a full-on career in this. And it's like, don't ever like kind of dismiss it. Because again, like as long as you're good at what you do, as long as you can take direction well, as long as you're a good person, highlight a good person, like there is a long career for you if you decide to do this. There are obviously, just like any other job, there's stuff that, you know, aren't fun, but you suck it up for those 15 seconds that you have on camera. And like, I don't know about you guys, but going back to that question that you had, if I ever find it weird to see myself and stuff, sometimes I do. But what really made it was that my first ever job was on a Winona Earp. And my dad actually watched that show a lot.
Oh, nice.
And I actually got like featured on that show, jumping off like the roof. And he never thought it was like a real thing. He never thought that stunts was gonna be a real thing. But the moment he saw that, and the moment that like he saw my face and all that stuff, even for like the 10 seconds that you saw me, that was like one of the first times he told me he was proud of me. And it was like great.
Oh, wow.
So like, yeah. And then from there on in, my dad's always asking, hey, what show are you working on? What are you doing this? What are you doing that? And like
Dad, NDA.
Nah, yeah, I mean, yeah. But yeah, no, it was great. So like, and again, like I haven't had a project where I saw myself in a project where I'm like, wow, I'm like really proud of myself. It's coming up soon though. That I can't talk about because of an NDA. But yeah, it's great. Now I'm the one that my dad brags about and all that stuff at family parties.
Nice.
And it's just, I don't know if I agree with that, but feels nice.
Speaking of bragging, let's get you some bragging rights and find out just how
CanAsian are you?
Not very.
Welcome to the game. This is the time where our crew is going to ask us a bunch of questions and gauge just how Canadian are you. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, I'm living right here.
All right.
All right, first question. Which of the following Chinese dishes are uniquely Canadian? Black pepper beef, chop suey, sweet and sour chicken balls, mapo tofu.
I think, okay. Sweet and sour chicken balls.
That is correct.
Yes! Yes, it is. All right.
All right, next question. According to Stats Canada in 2016, what percentage of Canadians identify as being of Asian origin?
34%.
That is incorrect.
Ha.
That is
Okay.
such a low mark.
5%, 17.7%, 25.6%, or 40%. Okay.
40%.
That's 4 is an unlucky number in
That
Asian
is
culture.
incorrect.
4 is an unlucky.
Of course it would be.
17%.
That is correct.
I knew it was going to be specific.
17.7 is the exact number, but
It is, of course.
that's the correct percentage.
Okay.
Okay,
All right. Fair enough.
next question. Tommy Chang is a world-renowned Korean-Canadian stunt coordinator. Which of the following TV series has he worked on? A. The Umbrella Academy. B. The Boys. C. Snowpiercer. D. 12 Monkeys.
The Umbrella Academy.
You're correct.
Yeah! That's right. I knew it.
Hi, can you get me Tommy Chang's email and contact? I would like to send my stuff to
We
him.
will link his IMDb.
Link in the description. Yeah, that's right.
This is how he does it.
Necessary socials, some artists. All right, next question. Okay. Who was the first Asian Canadian hockey player who joined the NHL?
Larry Kwong.
That is correct!
Boom! That's right. That's right.
I forgot
Next.
I forgot you could hover.
Next.
Okay.
That's right.
Next question. People from the Philippines began immigrating to Canada in which year? 1931, 1990, 1937, 1965.
1937.
That is incorrect.
Martin left.
65, bro.
That is incorrect.
What? No, that's fine.
1990.
No.
That was incorrect.
No.
People from the Philippines began immigrating to Canada in 1931.
Are you serious?
Wow, that's actually.
However, it was not until the 1990s that immigration increased as more Filipinos came to fill gaps in Canadian labor market.
Fun
Okay.
fact, my family came here in the 80s.
So my answer is the closest to being correct.
Nobody gets a point.
Great.
Okay, next question. What year was Asian Heritage Month in Canada officially declared? 1991, 2006.
I would just like to say I'm not very Canadian apparently. But
That's not an
2006.
answer.
2006.
2011 or 2002?
2006.
That's incorrect.
2011.
That is incorrect.
What?
2002.
Yeah,
2002.
that is correct.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
last
terrible at this.
question.
This game is rigged.
This is it. You need this, guys.
This Indo-Canadian politician was a professional vocal coach and music teacher who instructed singing in 7 languages before taking office.
Who is?
Amarjeet Sohi.
That is incorrect.
Who is?
You did cause. Okay. Jagmeet Singh, Jackie Singh, Leela Ahir, or Judy Chiavi. Rekha.
A.
Kidding me?
That is incorrect. Gabby.
Leela?
That is correct.
Sounds like a song. Sounds like a song, honestly.
Yeah.
The Honorable Leela Ahir did, in fact, work as a professional vocal coach and music teacher.
Alright, so with a resounding 1 point, record.
Don't look at me like that.
What's up? What's up?
Hey.
Show us called How Filipino Are You?
Are we roasted?
Ooh,
That's
it's
right.
not even that Filipino. Ooh.
Despite his love of hockey, Martin Cochingco only has 2 points.
Listen, that was a fast answer. I forgot I was like this, and I was like, and I heard it.
Coming in at number 1, Gabby doesn't get a last name.
Champion. Oh wow, I missed this from the last episode where I won it. That's right. This is great.
I'm surprised.
Wow.
Listen, I would just like to
Gabby
say
knew all
that these
these
guys are
answers.
experienced in
That's right.
this.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Thank you guys for watching us on this episode. Thank you to Martin for joining us as well. Is there anywhere we can find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube and Instagram. Just search up my name, Martin Cochingco.
Beauty. And thank you guys for watching this CanAsian Live.
I'm feeling good. The energy's great. Rekha's lost 2 of the trivia shows. Or actually, I don't think she's like, I don't know, I'm rooting for her.
It's been great. But for real, it's been good to dive into more details and kind of I guess get into the film side of things.
The guests have been great. It's been fun to kind of get to interact with all these individuals and learn more about them. I actually learned a lot of things I didn't know about Martin.
I'm actually part of the 3 Takes or Less stunt team that Martin is on. So I've worked with Alpacalypse Productions in kind of a different capacity, more in front of the camera than behind the camera. So it's interesting to see kind of what they do and how they work kind of from this side.
Honestly, like, I'm exhausted. It's pretty late, but this is the nature of just shooting life, and it's almost shocking how we haven't had these conversations enough. Hopefully, I don't know, making some impact and letting people like realize that there's really just some paths forward, and by sharing Martin's story and by sharing all these other guest stories, there's these opportunities that are available here in Edmonton, and we do also hope that Rekha will win one of these trivias.
I'm hoping.
Till next time.
Right, Gabby?
Please.